here. So pretty much what happened recently was the fact that GTA 6, the first trailer, dropped and the world went absolutely insane over it. There was this whole thing about how this guy on Twitter leaked the trailer like 13 hours earlier than Rockstar put it out because they were going to do it like December 5th at 9 a.m. in American time or whatever. This guy puts it out on Twitter. Rockstar's like, okay, let's just release this anyway and let the whole world see it, right? And stuff like that where it was happening. And then you also got the fact that this trailer got like 100 million views. It's got like 130 million views right now, I think. Like just a little bit over that. It got millions and millions of views hour per hour sort of thing. And it broke a record where it got more views in 24 hours in a Mr. Beast video than Mr. Beast was tweeting about how, oh my god, GTA 6 broke a record of a video we made or whatever.
You are about to experience The James Rambling Show, hosted by James Patton.
Hello, welcome back to the James Rambling Show for yet another episode. And in today's episode, right, the LED lights are back. And I don't need to mention any more about that because you can go on over to last week where I was talking about that at the start, so I won't go over it too much. So today's episode, right, I'm actually going to have a bit more of a themed episode for you now. If you know about some recent episodes of James Rambling Show, right, I usually just pick out one topic and just move on and on and on and on and on to other things. Well, this time I'm going to mix it up where I'm actually going to be talking about a lot of video game stuff that happened recently because I just want to talk about it. It can, in a sense, feel like I'm jumping on this sort of bandwagon, but I have an interest in these things, so I might as well just dabble into it. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about in terms of gaming, right, is the fact that GTA 6 is finally happening, man. It's actually existing. So if you don't know, if you're living under some kind of rock here, so pretty much what happened recently was the fact that GTA 6, the first trailer, dropped and the world went absolutely insane over it. There was this whole thing about how this guy on Twitter leaked the trailer like 13 hours earlier than Rockstar put it out because they were going to do it like December 5th at 9 a.m. in American time or whatever. This guy puts it out on Twitter. Rockstar's like, okay, let's just release this anyway and let the whole world see it, right? And stuff like that where it was happening. And then you also got the fact that this trailer got like 100 million views. It's got like 130 million views right now, I think. Like just a little bit over that. It got millions and millions of views hour per hour sort of thing. And it broke a record where it got more views in 24 hours in a Mr. Beast video than Mr. Beast was tweeting about how, oh my god, GTA 6 broke a record of a video we made or whatever, and stuff like that. There's also been stuff to where there's people complaining about GTA 6, and if you know anything about GTA as a franchise, since the 90s or whenever GTA came out, right, people have been complaining about how it's too violent, or this should be banned, and all that kind of stuff, and it even applies to GTA 6, right, and you get kind of that stuff where there's a lot of people complaining about it, but the world has definitely gone crazy over it, to say the least, especially because I mentioned that it got 100 million views and stuff like that. So how do I actually feel about this trailer? Well, I actually thought the trailer was amazing, and you've probably heard it on a million channels by now, but the graphics look amazing. It looks like Rockstar has definitely put a lot of work into this, especially coming off of the fact that GTA 5 was 10 years ago and now we're here and we're finally getting the trailer, and you get to see like the new characters they're introducing, like Lucia and Jason, I think, and you get to see the location, and it's actually taking place in Vice City as well. Taking place in a similar city to Vice City, like in Miami. Miami was Vice City, and this is, I think the city was Leonardo, I think, or something like that. And there's been these videos where they're comparing it from GTA to real life, and then there's been GTA 6 compared to GTA Vice City. So there's been all of these videos of people been breaking down the trailer. But I'm not going to play the trailer itself because a lot of channels have already done this. There might be some copyright involved because Rockstar Games is a big company. I could always give them some credit, but I don't need to play it. You've already seen this on other channels, and so I think GTA 6 has potential of being like the biggest game of all time, especially because it's going to break a lot of world records, especially because it's going to make so many sales. I bet you there's going to be 200 million people going to be buying this game in the first 24 hours, 48 hours or something. I would not be surprised about that. But another interesting thing about this whole GTA 6 stuff, right? I already talked about how there's this controversial thing about, oh, GTA 6 is violent, and they've been saying this thing since the 90s and things of that nature. Well, there's even people that are also who don't even care about GTA 6. They're coming out of the woodworks and like, oh my god, there's a female protagonist in GTA, guys, no! Right, and there's all this stupid controversy around that where trying to cancel the game over a game that's actually it's coming out in 2025, right? And my thoughts on that, it's like, I don't really mind it's coming out in 2025. It's almost 2024. 2025 is going to fly in probably. And so you get that, but just to go back to that, right? So these people are pretty much saying that GTA 6 is woke, even though the game comes out in 2025. That's just silly, especially when you consider how I mentioned there was the whole thing with Lucia and how she's a female protagonist. The ironic thing is that she's quote unquote the first female protagonist, even though if you look it up online, there was actually 4 female protagonists in the first ever GTA game, where it was a bird's eye view perspective, and now we're going into this era where the graphics are crazy and stuff like that. So there's a lot to say and a lot to unpack. So I guess that is where I will leave that topic because there is a lot to talk about. But knowing the nature of the James Ramblin' Show, I'm not going to spend 20 minutes talking about GTA 6. I will continue this theme because once we dive outside of my thoughts on the GTA 6 trailer and how it's got good graphics and how there's this controversy about how it's woke, controversy about how it's too violent, this kind of stuff. There was even stuff to do with how this guy is going to write a contract to his girlfriend because he wants to play GTA 6 for a whole week and stuff. So once you get outside of that, right, gaming, there was also the Game Awards 2023 that happened recently. And when I say recently, I think it happened on Thursday or Friday, something like that. And a lot of interesting moments came from that. I think I watched most of it and then went to bed after a while because it was on till almost 3 in the morning. I was like, I don't need to watch this whole thing. So one thing about the Game Awards that I found pretty interesting was how there's this actor, right, of this game called God of War, and I think I've talked about it with Phoenix, where he was sharing his thoughts on God of War Ragnarok, and this guy that made a video on it like last year. But this guy called Christopher Judge pretty much joked about how Call of Duty is mid in a sense because he was saying, "Oh, my speech at the Game Awards is like longer than the COD campaign. It was like 8 minutes or something." So I can pull up the clip where he's talking about that and play the audio of it if you're just wondering. So for audio listeners, right, this is called Christopher Judge Destroys Call of Duty, the Game Awards 2023. So I will link this in the description when I talk about this for the clip on the second channel, right? So here it is here, right? I have to avoid ads again as per usual, but oh wait, there's actually YouTube Shorts on it. Never mind. So that saves us even going for adverts, right? This is IGN, by the way, that did this. Let me do it again. Hold on. Fun fact, right?
My speech was actually longer than this year's Call of Duty campaign.
Oh man, he went in for the kill there.
Another company I'll never work for.
Yeah, the dude was like, fun fact, my campaign at the Game Awards is longer than the new COD campaign. Yeah, and the interesting thing even about that is the fact that the developers of Call of Duty even got mad at him and stuff like that. I might as well go over an article about this, and then we could just. I know we're kind of milking it right now. We're milking the Game Awards like everyone else is in GTA as well, but right. So the COD developers are going mad. They're going mad at Christopher Judge because he said these comments about GTA 6, right? So it says here, right? Right, it says you're on Google, but we can always find an article. But here we go, right? So it says several Call of Duty devs have called out Christopher Judge's joke about Modern Warfare 3's short campaign at the Game Awards. Christopher Judge's joke about his 2022 speech at the Game Awards being longer than Modern Warfare 3's campaign hasn't gone down so well with some Call of Duty developers, right? And if you know about the James Ramlin show, I think I did talk about how I didn't like some like Call of Duty games in the past, and to say the least, the last time I played a Call of Duty game was like Call of Duty Cold War or something. So that was like 2020, it's almost 2024, and I think the remake was like the remake. It was like the new Modern Warfare 3 is a remake of the Modern Warfare 3 from a while ago. And I remember this thing about the Modern Warfare 3 game where they changed the way the no Russian mission happens in 2023, where it's actually like you commit this terrorist attack in this game, but they obviously censored it, right? They censored it, and it just became this thing where they made it like this news report of this thing happening. So it didn't hit the same, and people just didn't like it. And it honestly just seems to be the fact that Call of Duty is just a milked cash grab every year. Like they're just finding an excuse to make money off this rather than giving the fans what they want and trying to make it interesting. That's especially the case, right? So I mean, I've not played the games in a while, but I can just tell it is a greedy corporate cash grab, especially if you consider them just trying to remake and milk the heck out of something people already enjoyed. So here we go, right? I know I kind of milked it there. I kind of milked that whole segment, but here we go, right? So, Call of Duty developers. This is an article, right? I found the article is by, I think it's Experta, right? Experta. Call of Duty devs are annoyed at Christopher Judge's joke from TGA 23, right? Call of Duty developers have taken to social media to Christopher Judge's jab from this year's The Game Awards, and spoiler alert, they aren't pleased. During his speech before presenting the award for best performance, right, of Newborn, right, or whatever. Alright, okay, we don't need to explain the joke thing, right? I don't know why the articles say that, right? And then, what was this, right? Somebody on Twitter, this in the article says, imagine having short user engagement once your game is consumed. Can't relate. Hashtag Game Awards, right? So, right, that was that guy there. What did Judge do to earn the ire of the Call Todd devs? Right, in 2022, Christopher won the same award, right? Blah 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 for Kratos, right? I'm not going to stand up here making long speeches. I'm going to stick to the script. No 8 minute speech like last year. Okay, what followed? Right, the roast, blah blah blah. It doesn't really. Does it really even talk about how? Does it talk about how that they're actually roasted? Like they actually are mad at them, at him. Some developers state, okay, here we go, we actually found it. So some developers stated that the main reason behind the poor state of Call of Duty Modern Warfare was a shaky development process, considering the intense crunch periods and the game being in the oven for only 16 months, right? One can see the joke would be in bad taste, right? But to say the least, the joke isn't even that bad, right? To me, what it felt like was the Chris Rock joke from the 2022 Oscars, where he joked about I've already talked about this before, but about how he like Will Smith and G.I. Jane 2 or whatever, right? It's the most tame, dry, like surface level humor, but the internet has to erupt like a volcano over somebody's joke, right? It's insane. Why do people do this, right? And they make the COD devs are making excuses about the development was shaky and it's 16 months and whatever, whatever, whatever. But it doesn't change the fact that it seems like the fandom of the Call of Duty fan base have kind of realised that the quality's dropping. But I do actually have a friend that still plays Call of Duty. It's just, yeah, just that's kind of it. And the article kind of just clickbaited there, but it was just kind of rambling on and on and on about how the developers were annoyed at him, right? So there's that aspect to it, right? Another like kind of funny thing about the Game Awards was how Starfield literally never got an award at all. And if you know about a couple months ago in the James Ramblin show, I did this episode where it's like, is Starfield overrated? Like question mark, question mark, question mark, or something like that, right? And I just dabbled into how I kind of thought, oh, like Starfield is mid. Like it's a space game and it just wasn't that good. And there was people even trying to defend it, and even at the Game Awards, right? The guy who is behind Bethesda, behind Skyrim, behind Fallout, who made Starfield, he was at the Game Awards, and when he didn't actually hear like Starfield went anything, his face was just like this. he just wasn't happy. It's like that reaction where, like that meme where everybody's laughing or whatever. Like so funny. It's not funny or laughing. Right, I can't remember what the meme's called, but it's like when your face that you just have no reaction to it. It's like, uh, he's just kind of like that. And another thing about this whole Game Awards situation was how, like, right, you had the Baldur's Gate 3. Now, I don't think I've ever talked about that game, and I never really played the game, but it actually won Game of the Year, and it won all of these awards. And I found, like, this clip where this guy made this meme of how it, like, there was Baldur's Gate 3 winning this, Baldur's Gate 3 winning that, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate, Baldur's Gate. There was no Starfield, and even before the Game Awards even happened, it was confirmed that that Starfield wasn't even nominated for the Game Awards. So I've got a meme here. The channel is called Preza Gaming Channel. I will link it in the description of this clip, and I will credit them as per usual. So, right, so when Todd realised Starfield didn't win an award in TGA, which stands for the Game Awards, right? So here we go, right?
And the Game Award goes to Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 3.
Move that the way, right?
Congratulations, Larian. And the game of the year is Baldur's Gate 3.
Right, so it's Baldur's Gate 3. Then you just see this, right? Audio listeners, right?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Right, ready? I'll put it here. That's him in the crowd, right? You see him, right? Oh wait, hold on. That's Starfield, right? So that's the game, and then it's
Why are we still here?
right, and then it showed him like, why are we still here? And his face is literally just like this at the end, right? Oh my god, there we go, right? So that's what it looks like. Like his face is just, he's like this, right? He's like, he's not sad, but he's not like very angry. He's like, really? Sort of thing. And so it's interesting because Starfield wasn't actually, like, people didn't really like the game. Like at the time, people were saying, "Oh, Bethesda, it's amazing." People were defending it, Bethesda, but then people were saying, "Oh, Bethesda, you're doing the same shit you did 10 years ago with this game," and that was kind of why the fandom realized, okay, this game isn't awesome. So there's all of that kind of stuff. I don't need to go on and on about the Game Awards. There's people who've already milked the heck out of the Game Awards, especially because I've seen 3 hour reaction videos to this. I even watched a guy who did this, like, he kind of co-streamed it where he was watching it and he was at the side giving his opinions and watching it and reacting to it and stuff like that. There was a lot of stuff at the Game Awards I didn't actually care about as well. There's a lot of these games they announced and things of that nature. So there's definitely that, but I guess, right, I guess what we could talk about next is kind of like how, yeah, I think I said last week about Yakuza, like my new opinions on Yakuza Kiwami and Yakuza Kiwami 2. Well, I did say that I might update you on my new opinion on, or maybe my opinion on Yakuza 3, because I'm replaying them. If you don't know what I'm talking about, right, I said I want to replay the Yakuza games to refresh my memory, and because Yakuza 8's coming out, and so right now I'm currently on Yakuza 5, but I've took a break because I've been playing the games a bit too much lately. And so when it comes to Yakuza 3, right, the James Ramley show, this is an infamous thing I've said before that, oh, I don't like Yakuza 3. I didn't really enjoy it that much, and it was something I wasn't the biggest fan of. Well, if I have to say now, right, I have an interesting opinion on this game now. Because when it comes to Yakuza 3, I definitely think that this game is definitely an underrated game, to say the least, right? Like, I genuinely think that when I talked about Yakuza 3 being a bad game, I genuinely thought I was a bit crazy because, like, I mean, a bit of exaggeration there, but, like, the thing is with Yakuza 3 is that, okay, people have complained about how, oh, the enemies, they block the attacks and they always block the attacks and it's block user and all of that kind of stuff. And there's even people complaining about the children Kiryu has to look after. Well, I feel like the game is good because you get to see a new environment in Okinawa. Kiryu gets to move on from the Yakuza life for a change. There's also this really cool villain called Andre Richardson, right? And like he has this American accent, and I don't know if you even talked about this villain, but he has this like there's not been many American villains in Yakuza, and it's been cool to see in that, right? And And let me see if I can find a clip of this. Right, Andre Richardson, Yakuza 3. So I will play this, but it is really really funny, right? Like it's kind of funny. Like you never expect it, but so here, right, this is a clip for Yakuza 3, right? So I'll obviously link this in the description as well. But this is an aspect of.
Give me your code. Those two,
Oh, somebody's dubbing over it. What the hell? Hold on. All dialogue scenes, right? So somebody here, right?
Looks like you're a little late.
Right, this is a part of Yakuza 3, right?
Missed it.
It's talking about Mine, by the way, the main villain or whatever, right? So
If I'd known it would have come to this, I'd have killed you when first we met. Nandato.
right,
If you're looking for Daigo, Mine's taken him up to the roof.
the roof, right? So I don't need to show the entire clip, right? But that is pretty much what that character was, right? He was this villain who was working for the CIA, and that was good about it, right? There was all this build up to Andre Richardson, which was cool. I think the company was called Black Monday in the game, and I also kind of liked how you got this segment where this guy spilled out all this information that you didn't know about originally. Like you kind of knew all this stuff about Daigo, you didn't really know what was going on, so this guy explains it to you. For first time players of this game, I can see, okay, maybe this is a bit of an exposition dump or an info dump where you're just getting constant information thrown at you, but it does pay off in the end for me. And even with the blocking, you've also still got good characters like Ricky as a good companion to Kiryu, because he learns that quite quickly that he hated him originally, and then he starts to kind of fall in love with him in a sense. But he's just like this companion. There's all these other aspects that I really didn't appreciate about Yakuza 3. I'm not going to tell you it's a masterpiece, but I have definitely changed my opinion on it, right? So there's definitely that where you've got Yakuza 3. There's also Yakuza 4, where I did finish this replay last night, and I have to say, right, when it comes to Yakuza 4, I still enjoy the game, but man oh man, did I forget how kind of stupid the story is in this game. So of course I do enjoy the fact that you get to see different characters like Akiyama, you've got Saejima, you've got Tanimura, then you've got Kiryu, but the interesting thing about this game is the fact that the story is very dumb. Like this game has been memed about how you've got like Saejima actually didn't kill these 18 members of Yakuza, and him going to jail really just doesn't make any sense in the end, because it was rubber bullets that he shot the people with, right? And there's stuff like that, and then there's these villains that don't really, like, when you fight them in the end of the game, it doesn't feel satisfying, to say the least, because you knew about these characters, but they never made a big deal out of them to where they feel like they are deserving of actually doing this fight. The boss fights also felt repetitive, where you did the same moves over and over again, and the boss did the same moves over and over again. So you would also have that. You would also have the same like song in the intro as well. So it's like a fun game, but it does definitely have flaws to it. But I think Akiyama is probably the best new introduced character. You can make a case for Tanimura, but he does come in at the end a bit, and so he doesn't actually feel as exciting, because you got Akiyama straight away, and then like Tanimura is like at the tail end of the game, and he's kind of there. Like, I do like the fact that he is a detective, but at the same time, it's just like he just doesn't have the same kind of energy, or just he doesn't feel the same as Akiyama, to say the least. And I know he's kind of fascinated with like Saijima's case, where he went to jail for 25 years and stuff like that. I know about that, but he just doesn't he just doesn't he's just not as good. I don't think he's like as great as Akiyama, in my opinion. Like, at first glance you think he's a cool character, and then you just realise, yeah, he's at the tail end, and the game really doesn't know what to do with its own story at times, and yeah, there's definitely that. So I have kind of rambled on about Yakuza again. And there is Yakuza 5, but I did take a break from it. I only played a couple chapters. But there was actually another Yakuza announcement, right? I know we have milked the heck out of this Yakuza topic already, but there was actually a Yakuza trailer that came out recently for the bucket list or something. And it's like the stuff to do with Yakuza 8 side content. And I get the feeling, right, okay, I understand that RGG, the game company that made Yakuza, right, they're trying to hype us up for Yakuza 8, but there is this element of spoiling the game too, which I'm not the biggest fan of. Where if somebody, just like they just watch the trailer and it ruins the game for them. So there's definitely that. There was actually also this idea around how Yakuza is 18 years old, right? So what am I talking about? So the original Yakuza 1 before the Kiwami remake, it came out December 8th, 2005. So RGG, actually, I think it was this live stream that Sega did where they played some of Infinite Wealth and they were celebrating it like it was called Like a Dragon Day. And so there's definitely stuff like that. And so that is my thoughts on the Yakuza. This is kind of my updated rendition on the Yakuza games I've been replaying. And so to kind of wrap up the Lego, not the Lego, the gaming's this kind of gaming episode, this gaming themed episode, right? The reason why I mentioned Lego is the fact that Lego Fortnite exists now. So I think I might have talked about Fortnite a while ago on the James Armstrong a couple months ago, where I had the story about how I bought V-Bucks without my parents' permission or whatever. But Fortnite recently did a collaboration with Lego, and I thought I might as well talk about this. So if you're wondering what I'm talking about, right? So Fortnite recently put out this collaboration with Lego, and there was this trailer. And to say the least, I don't know where to sit on it because it's like, okay, it's a collaboration with a big video game company and a big video game that everybody plays. It's gone viral over the past like 6 or 7 years or whenever Fortnite came out, right? And so you get kind of that stuff. But then I go to play Fortnite Lego or Lego Fortnite, whatever, and I've talked about the Lego Star Wars saga before, but I actually think, right, I mentioned that because I have played Lego games before and stuff like that, and I actually think that Lego Fortnite is kind of cool, right? And so the reason why I think it is cool is because, Fortnite, it's like this battle royale video game sort of thing where you have to survive till the very end. But this kind of feels like a Minecraft version of Fortnite where you have to gather resources and survive, and you don't actually have to do Fortnite battle royale in this. And it's kind of ironic because it's Fortnite collaboration, but it is like a survival mode where you get to build things and collect things and survive the night. Like you also get to build a campfire. It's kind of cool, and especially coming off the fact that recently, Fortnite did this Eminem concert, and they had like Peter Griffin show up in Fortnite, and that just felt like that just kind of seemed cringe to me, because I have to say, right, I think Eminem, right, Eminem was good back in the 90s and the 2000s, but recently his music isn't as good as it used to be. Like I do remember the time when I did like his Godzilla song, and over time I just realised this is terrible. Like, all of his other songs are actually way better than this stuff. Like, I became a Godzilla and I went to the car dealer, bobbity bobbity bobbity, and he was like joking out. He was like roasting. He was roasting all of these like mumble rappers or whatever. Then he makes this mumbo jumbo junky trash like catchy music that doesn't make any sense. Whereas back in the day, he made these compelling, interesting songs where they had a message behind it. They made sense lyrically. They made sense, and the message behind it all made sense. And I did re-listen to like the Eminem show recently just to get a refresher and to kind of add on to this podcast episode. So I wanted to know, like, his old music definitely is better. You can tell that he took it more seriously as well. Like the songs are emotional. They have passion behind it. Whereas yeah, I did say like Godzilla, the car dealer, blah 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 blah. And the other thing about this is like, I don't think I talked about this, but I've talked about NFTs in the past. But Eminem had this whole thing where he had NFTs, right? He made this NFT of himself, and he was grifting, and he was trying to get attention, and he was just banking off of the popular shit rather than trying to be interesting. You know what I mean? He was just trying to follow up with the times rather than trying to be a good artist anymore. And definitely this Fortnite collaboration just seems like peak milking it to me. It just seems like Fortnite just wants to get a little bit more of that artist juice, and then we can start saying Eminem is the artist from Fortnite. Is that the guy from Fortnite? Da, 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 da. Did the same shit with Travis Scott as well. I think they're like, oh, Travis Scott's in Fortnite, guys. Oh, now he's the guy from Fortnite. Oh, he's totally not an artist from a few years ago, right? And so you get that kind of stuff, right? Where so you've got Fortnite and stuff. You've got GTA 6, and I know I was gonna wrap up the episode, but Right. What an episode this has been, right? We've mostly been discussing video games, we've mostly been discussing all that kind of stuff, but we went into a rant about Eminem because of Fortnite. And so, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this episode of the James Ramblin' Show. As of late, it's been quite hard to do 20-minute episodes. Like, I actually thought I was going to just put out a 20-minute episode, but as I'm looking at it, right, it definitely looks like looking at 30 minutes here, but it should be fine, right? We've covered what we need to cover, so yeah. Bye. I'll see you next week for another episode of the James Ramble Show as we edge closer to episode 100. Bye.